If you're pregnant for the first time, I'm willing to bet the thought of childbirth feels, well, a little terrifying, maybe a lot terrifying. And I want you to know you are so not alone in that. But what if we could take that big, overwhelming feeling and turn it into real, genuine confidence? That's what we're going to do today.
So let's just dive right in. Why is this experience, something that's supposed to be so miraculous, so often completely wrapped up in fear? Well, the answer isn't quite what you'd think, and honestly, it has a lot to do with the world that's all around you.
And that leads us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? Does it have to be this way? Is fear just part of the deal? Or can you actually prepare for a birth that feels smooth and confident, even if it's your very first time? To really get why this fear is so common, just look at this. It's pretty alarming, right? In the US, one of the most advanced nations in the world, maternal care recently got a grade of D+. Now, that doesn't mean the whole system is broken, but it does mean you can't just assume you're going to be perfectly guided through everything. It really puts the power and, honestly, the responsibility to prepare right back into your own hands. You know, a huge part of the fear really starts with this total avalanche of information. It's not that you're lacking advice, not at all. It's that you're literally drowning in it. And this advice comes from everywhere, doesn't it? You've got your mom with stories from a totally different generation of childbirth. You've got your friends who seem almost excited to share their 20-hour labor horror story. You have Dr. Google, which is just an endless, unfiltered rabbit hole. And then, of course, you have your doctor. But there's a little bit of a catch there, too. And this right here, this really shows you the disconnect. On one side, you have what your doctor's focused on: medical safety, labs, the baby's heartbeat, fluid levels, and all of that is absolutely crucial. We need that. But on the other side, you have your needs. You want to understand what's happening. You need emotional support. You want to build confidence and feel like you're in control. And it's that gap right there that so often leaves you feeling totally unprepared. So it all comes down to this. As a first-time mom, you're stepping into a profound unknown. And the anxiety comes from a really simple truth. You don't know what you don't know. You want to prepare, but you might not even know what questions you should be asking in the first place. Okay, so enough about the problem, right? Let's talk about the solution. How do we actually build a clear path that takes you from feeling lost and afraid to feeling genuinely confident and empowered? Here's the game plan. It's a simple but really powerful three-part framework. It's all about taking birth from being this big, scary monster to something totally manageable. It's all about knowledge, action, and mastery. First up is knowledge. This is all about demystifying the whole process. I mean, when you actually understand what contractions are doing, what the stages of labor really mean, and what your body was literally designed to do, that huge fear factor, it immediately starts to shrink. Second, we build your toolkit with action. And this isn't just theory, okay? This is about real, tangible skills. Learning how to breathe to work with a contraction instead of fighting it, how to push effectively, how to manage the intensity. These are the tools that give you back a sense of control. And all of that leads us to the final and maybe most important step: mastery. The whole goal here is to practice those actions, your breathing, your positions, until they become totally automatic. We're talking about building muscle memory, so that when labor actually starts, you don't even have to think about it. Your body just knows what to do. Now, this framework is fantastic for the long run, but I know that feeling of anxiety. It's probably buzzing around right now. So let's talk about something you can do to get some instant calm. So how can you start to take back some of that control, like right now, tonight, without even leaving your couch? It's way simpler and honestly, way more powerful than you might think. Okay, here it is. Just 2 simple steps. Step 1, name your fear. And don't just say, I'm scared of labor. No, get super specific. Write down, I'm scared of tearing, or I'm scared I'm going to freeze up and forget everything I learned. Then step 2, play what if. Actually think through it. What would happen if that specific fear really did come true? What's the plan?
And this is why this little exercise works so well. See, vague anxiety is like a fog, right? It's just everywhere and you can't grab onto it. But the second you name your fear, you turn that fog into a definite thought, a specific problem. And a specific problem can have a specific solution.
So by playing out that what-if scenario, what if I tear? Well, my doctor knows how to handle that, and I'll have a recovery plan. You create a strategy. And in that exact moment, the fear starts to lose its power. You have just taken back control. So let's bring this all home. This whole thing is about reframing your entire approach to childbirth.
It's about moving from being a passive passenger to being the pilot on an empowered journey that you get to actively shape.
I want you to think of your birth plan not as some rigid script that has to be followed perfectly, but as a flexible strategy. It's a game plan. A doula told me a story once about a client who ended up needing an emergency C-section, the one thing she really wanted to avoid. But because she was prepared for that pivot, she still described her birth as a positive, empowering experience. Now that is the power of preparation. And really, it all comes down to this one powerful shift in your mindset. Birth isn't something that just happens to you, something you just have to endure. It's a miraculous, powerful process that you are channeling. It is happening through you. So by taking these steps, by gaining the knowledge, building your action toolkit, and achieving that mastery, you are no longer just along for the ride in your own birth. You are the author. So the only question left is, how are you going to write your story?